Life's pretty good these days, honestly. My name's Caleb, and I'm 27. I work at a design firm creating sustainable farming equipment. Sounds a bit niche, I know, but trust me, someone has to make sure tractors don't completely suck. And I'm good at it. Last year, I got engaged to Ashley. She just gets me. She sees me, truly. We found an apartment with great heat and windows that actually seal. It's a quiet life, a steady life, and sometimes I have to remind myself that it wasn't always this way. Growing up, my dad, Mark, managed a printing facility. He mostly worked nights. My mom, Brenda, was home with us until my sister, Chloe, and I hit middle school. Then she picked up some part-time admin work at a dental office. Chloe is 2 years older than me, and she was always the golden child. I was the spare tire. The one you keep in the trunk just in case. The one you hope you never actually need. That dynamic, it wasn't just a feeling, it was the air we breathed. Every time Chloe stumbled, Mom would swoop in. Bad grade? Brenda would call the teacher to dispute it. Cut from volleyball? Brenda would complain to the athletic director. Meanwhile, I'd bring home straight A's, and Mom would barely glance at the report card. Good job, she'd say, then pivot back to whatever crisis Chloe was navigating that week. I learned early that being low maintenance meant being invisible. It was a chilly October evening in Wisconsin when the invisible finally became utterly irrelevant. 51 degrees, rain coming down sideways. Wisconsin in autumn doesn't mess around. And standing on my front porch at 9 p.m., just 15 years old, with only a backpack and soaked sneakers, I learned how quickly your life can unravel without you actually dying. Just 3 hours earlier, I'd been at cross-country practice. Coach Miller had us doing hill repeats until my legs felt like jelly. Got home around 6:30, planning to shower and crash. Brenda's Camry was in the driveway. Chloe's room had music playing. A normal Wednesday. Then I walked into the kitchen. Brenda stood there, arms crossed, her face tight and cold. "Sit down," she said. I sat. Chloe emerged from the living room, eyes red, clutching her phone like it was irrefutable evidence. Brenda didn't waste time. "Chloe told me what you did. How you've been taking money from her account. Small amounts, thinking she wouldn't notice." The accusation landed with a weird thud. Too specific, yet too vague. "What are you talking about?" I asked. "Don't lie to me." Brenda's voice went up half an octave. "She has proof. Transactions, dates, everything." Chloe pulled up her banking app, shoved the screen in my face. Withdrawals over the past 2 months. 20 here, 40 there, 65 last week. It added up to around $300. I didn't do any of that. Then explain how money keeps disappearing right after you use her laptop. Chloe's voice cracked perfectly. "You're the only one who knows my passwords." I didn't know her passwords. I hadn't touched her laptop in 6 months, not since she'd gotten paranoid about privacy and started keeping it locked in her room. But the way Brenda was looking at me, none of that mattered. She'd already written the story in her head. "This is insane. Check the security cameras at wherever she withdrew it. Check her transaction history. I don't even have access to, you stole from your sister." Brenda cut me off. "Your own sister, who's been saving for college. Do you understand how sick that is?" Chloe was crying harder now, really selling it. An Academy Award performance. I watched her shoulders shake, watched the tears stream, and something in my gut twisted because I knew this girl. I knew when she was faking. We'd grown up in the same house. I'd seen her practice crying in the mirror before asking Brenda for things. This was that, dialed up to 11. I tried 3 more times to explain how it made no sense. How I had my own money from the bike shop where I worked weekends. How Chloe's story had holes you could drive a truck through. Brenda wasn't hearing it. Your father's on his way home, but I want you out of this house before he gets here. I will not have a thief under my roof. Mom, please. Just get out. She physically pushed me toward the door, then threw my backpack after me. The deadbolt clicked with a sound that felt permanent. Through the window, I watched Chloe lean into Brenda's shoulder. I watched Brenda stroke her hair and whisper things I couldn't hear. The scene looked rehearsed, like they'd practiced it. I stood there for maybe 5 minutes before the rain started. Light drizzle at first, then heavy drops that soaked through my hoodie in seconds. My phone was at 11%. The garage was locked. The back shed smelled like fertilizer and old paint. So, I started walking. Our subdivision was the kind with security cameras and ring doorbells and neighborhood watch signs. Nobody was watching me now, just empty streets and warm houses where families did normal things. I passed the Henderson place, their porch light was on, and I could see them watching TV together. The whole family, normal, safe, everything I'd thought I had 3 hours ago. I ended up at Willow Creek Park, sitting under the gazebo the Rotary Club built years back. The bench was damp, leaves collected in corners, turning to mush. A jogger passed by with earbuds in, didn't even glance at the soaked teenager sitting alone at 9:30 on a school night. My hands were shaking, not from cold, but from something deeper that felt like my body was trying to disconnect from what was happening. I kept replaying the kitchen scene, Brenda's face, Chloe's tears. The way neither of them had paused for even a second to consider I might be telling the truth. 15 years of being their son, their brother, and it counted for nothing against one accusation. I called Mark at 9:42. He answered on the third ring, voice tired. What's up? I'm at Willow Creek Park. Mom kicked me out. Chloe said I stole money from her, and Mom believed her without checking anything, and I need you to come get me. The words came out in a rush. Mark went quiet for 3 seconds. Stay there. Don't move. I'm 20 minutes out. He made it in 14. His truck pulled up, headlights cutting through the rain. I climbed in, and the heat hit me like a wall. Mark looked at my face, my soaked clothes, the way I was shaking. Tell me everything. So I did. The accusation, the banking app, Brenda's immediate judgment, Chloe's tears that didn't quite reach her eyes, being locked out without a chance to defend myself. Mark listened without interrupting, his jaw getting tighter with every sentence. When I finished, his hands tightened on the steering wheel. Those withdrawals, you didn't make them. No. You know I have my own money from the bike shop. I don't need to steal from Chloe. He nodded once, decisive. We're going home. And we're getting to the bottom of this tonight. The drive back took 4 minutes. Every second felt like building towards something. Mark walked through the front door like a man with a mission. Brenda was still on the couch with Chloe, looking comfortable. That comfort evaporated when she saw me behind him. Mark, I told you, you told me there was an emergency. You didn't tell me you threw our son out in the rain without verifying a single fact. Brenda stood up, defensive. Chloe showed me the proof. Transactions can be faked, or misattributed. Where's her phone? Let's look at this proof. Chloe clutched her phone to her chest. Mark held out his hand. Either show me the actual evidence, or admit you're lying. Those are your options. The silence stretched. Chloe's eyes flicked to Brenda, looking for backup. Brenda stepped forward. She doesn't need to prove anything to you. We know what happened. No. You know what Chloe told you. That's not the same thing. Mark's voice stayed level, calm. The kind of calm that's more dangerous than yelling. Chloe, log into your bank account right now on the computer, where we can all see the full transaction history. Chloe hesitated. Just a half second, but I caught it. So did Mark. She moved to the kitchen table, opened her laptop with shaking hands. The login page loaded. She typed her credentials. The account summary came up. $743 available balance. Transaction history showing the withdrawals she'd mentioned. But when Mark clicked on the details, they showed ATM locations. Which ATM did you use on October 8th? Chloe blinked. I don't remember. It was the corner of Elm and Main. That's 3 blocks from your friend Maya's house. Mark pulled up Google Maps. Show me where you were that day. He started clicking through more transactions. Each one had a location. Each one corresponded to places Chloe had been, according to her own social media posts. October 8th, 3 p.m., photo at Maya's house with caption study group. Withdrawal from ATM 3 blocks away at 3:17 p.m. October 15th, noon, photo at the mall with friends. Withdrawal from mall ATM at 12:43 p.m. 3 more transactions, same pattern. By midnight, the theft story was dead. That's when she pivoted. That's not even the worst part. Her voice dropped, got quiet, scared sounding. I only mentioned the money because I was trying to avoid bringing up the real reason I'm upset. Brenda immediately shifted into protection mode. What real reason? Chloe looked down at her hands, started crying. Not the performance from earlier. This was different, more calculated. After practice last Tuesday, when everyone else had left, he cornered me by the equipment shed. The air went heavy, poisonous. I couldn't breathe. That never happened. You're lying. Chloe's voice cracked. I have bruises from where you grabbed me. She pulled up her sleeve, showing marks on her upper arm, yellowing at the edges, but still visible. Old enough to look real, fresh enough to be convincing. Mark's voice cut through. What day was this? Last Tuesday. What time? After practice, around 5:30. Mark pulled out his phone. Last Tuesday, October 19th, practice ended at what time? 5:15, I said. And where were you after that? Bike shop. I had a shift at 5:30. Worked until close. Mark called the bike shop, put it on speaker. The owner, Mike, answered and confirmed I'd worked that entire evening. Clocked in at 5:27, worked until 9 p.m. closing. Never left. Chloe's face went white. I meant the Tuesday before. I got confused. Mark didn't even blink. October 12th. That Tuesday, I picked him up from practice. We went to Lowe's. I have the receipt, time-stamped at 5:47 p.m. Every word in the room seemed to drop to the floor. Chloe was trapped, but she didn't back down. The days blur together when you're traumatized. Brenda grabbed onto this. Of course, you're confused, sweetheart. Trauma does that. Mark looked at her for a long moment. Then he looked at me. Caleb, get your things. We're leaving. Mark, you can't just. We loaded garbage bags into his truck in the rain. Clothes, school stuff, my running shoes. Brenda stood in the doorway but didn't try to stop us. Chloe stayed inside, watching from her bedroom window. I saw the curtain move when I looked up, saw her face in the gap. She looked scared. Good. 20 minutes later, we were at a motel off the highway. Mark sat on the edge of the bed with his head in his hands. I'm calling a lawyer tomorrow. I wanted to feel relieved. Instead, I felt hollow. I woke up to voices through the motel wall, a muffled argument next door. The clock said 6:23 a.m. Mark was already up, sitting in the chair by the window with coffee from the lobby machine. The room smelled like burnt coffee and industrial cleaning products. Welcome to rock bottom. We need to go back, he said. Get the rest of your stuff before school. The house felt different in daylight. Colder somehow. Brenda was in the kitchen making breakfast like it was any normal Thursday. Eggs and toast. The routine unchanged. She saw us walk in, and her face did something complicated. "Mark, I think we should all sit down and talk about this calmly." "There's nothing calm about what happened last night." Mark's voice was flat. "You threw your son out in the rain because you chose to believe a lie without checking a single fact." "I was protecting Chloe. She was upset. She showed me evidence. She showed you her own withdrawals and blamed them on him." "That's not evidence. That's a story you wanted to believe." Brenda's mouth tightened. She turned to me, and something in her expression softened. Real regret in her eyes. "Caleb, I'm sorry. I really am. I should have listened to you first. I should have checked everything before I reacted. I was scared for Chloe, and I let that cloud my judgment. I know I hurt you, and I want to make this right. Can we please just talk about this as a family?" For half a second, I wanted to believe it. Wanted to think maybe she actually understood what she'd done. Then I opened my mouth. "You didn't ask," I said. Brenda blinked. "What?" "You didn't ask for my side. You didn't check the ATM locations. You didn't look at Chloe's posts. You just locked the door." The softness vanished. Her face hardened. "I've apologized. I've admitted I was wrong. What more do you want from me? I didn't ask for anything." "Then what's the problem?" "I'm trying to fix this, and you're being difficult." "I'm being difficult? Don't you dare take that tone with me. I am still your mother." "Then act like it." The words came out harder than I meant them. Brenda's face went red. "Get your things and get out. If you want to live with your father and be disrespectful, fine. But don't come crying to me when you realize what you've given up." Mark started to say something, but I was already heading upstairs. The rest of my stuff fit in 2 duffel bags. Posters stayed on the walls. Trophies stayed on the shelf. I didn't want anything that reminded me of this place. Chloe appeared in my doorway as I was packing, still in pajamas, hair messy. She looked younger without the performance. "Can we talk?" "No." I kept packing, didn't look at her. "If you don't get out of my way, I'm going to walk through you." Her voice got smaller, shaky, different. "Mom's going to find out about the other stuff. The real reason I needed money. When she does, it's going to be bad." That made me stop. Turn around. For just a second, I saw panic in her eyes. Real panic. Like she'd miscalculated something and was only now realizing how deep the hole was. "Then you better figure out how to spin it since you're so good at that." Her face crumpled. I was scared. I didn't know what else to do. "You could have told the truth. You could have not blamed me. You had options." "I know. I'm sorry. I really am." I looked at her. Really looked. Saw the girl I used to build blanket forts with when we were kids. The one who used to sneak me Halloween candy after Brenda said I'd had enough. That person felt like someone I'd made up. "The thing is, Chloe, I don't think you're sorry you did it. I think you're sorry it didn't work." I zipped the bag and walked past her. She didn't try to stop me. The rental house became our new normal. A small 2-bedroom across town. Mark bought a coffee maker, and we figured out a morning routine. He'd make breakfast before his shift. I'd get myself to school. We'd compare notes over dinner about how the day went. It was quiet, sometimes too quiet, but it was honest. The place was basic, beige carpet that had seen better decades, a kitchen with counters from the 80s, but it was ours. No performances, no walking on eggshells, just me and Mark figuring out how to exist without the constant drama. School became a different kind of hell. By Monday, everyone knew something had happened. The rumors started small. Chloe's upset. Family drama. Caleb moved out. Normal gossip. Then it evolved. I walked into first period, and Kevin wouldn't make eye contact. At lunch, the cross-country table had an empty seat where I usually sat. Nobody said anything. They just ate and talked around the space I used to fill. The silence was louder than any accusation. People I'd known since elementary school suddenly couldn't remember my name. Girls who used to say hi in the hallways crossed to the other side when they saw me coming. The social death happened fast. Wednesday afternoon, Ms. Jenkins called me to the counselor's office. Principal Lewis was waiting by the window. The door clicked shut with a sound that felt final. "Caleb, we've received a formal complaint regarding your conduct with another student." She slid a paper across the desk. "This is your notice of allegations. You have the right to respond in writing within 5 school days." I picked up the paper. Official letterhead, clinical language. Allegation on or about October 19, 2021, at approximately 5:30 p.m. near the athletic equipment shed. Student A alleges that you engaged in unwanted physical contact of a sexual nature. Student A. Not even using Chloe's name, like they were protecting some anonymous victim from their dangerous predator. Like we weren't siblings who'd grown up in the same house. The institutional language made it worse somehow. Turned me into a case file. A problem to be managed, not a person. This is about my sister lying to cover up stealing from her own account. You can verify everything with my dad. We have proof. I wasn't even, we take all allegations seriously, Principal Lewis cut in. Regardless of family relationships or competing narratives, effective immediately, you're being removed from the cross-country team pending investigation. You're also subject to a no-contact directive with the complainant. She handed me another letter. Immediate suspension from extracurricular activities. Mandatory meeting with the district's Title IX coordinator. Failure to comply would result in expulsion. I walked out of that office, and the hallway felt different. People moved away from me, created space like I was contaminated. That night, a customer came into the bike shop. A woman in her 40s. I'd seen her around school events. She took one look at me, turned around, and left without a word. Mike noticed, pulled me aside after close. "You okay, kid?" "Yeah." "You need to talk about anything?" "Not really." He nodded. Didn't push. "You're a good worker." "I'm not going anywhere." I appreciated that more than I could say. Mark hired a lawyer named Sarah 2 days later. At our first meeting, she sat across from us with a legal pad and said 3 words that changed everything: document. Everything. She taught me to screenshot every lie, save every text, log every location with timestamps, build a timeline so detailed that even the fuzziest allegation would shatter against it. I started carrying a pocket notebook. Wrote down where I was, when, who saw me. Kept receipts from the bike shop, texts from Mark, photos with metadata intact. I started treating my own life like a crime scene that needed evidence. The machine kept grinding. Chloe's best friend, Maya, posted an Instagram story about standing with survivors and believing women. It didn't name me, but everyone knew who she meant. 200 likes in an hour. My cousin Ethan, Chloe's age, popular student council president, organized a survivor solidarity rally during lunch. Held it in the quad where everyone could see. Chloe spoke about finding her voice and not letting fear silence her. I watched from the library window. 50 students showed up, held signs, chanted about believing survivors. Ethan stood at the front with his megaphone, doing that thing he always did where he'd pause mid-sentence and scan the crowd to make sure people were watching. Everything was a performance with him. Every cause, just another line on his college application. He'd quote famous activists he'd probably never read and end every speech with his hands pressed together like he was praying for all of us. Nobody mentioned my name. They didn't have to. Someone slashed both my bike tires 2 days later, left them flat in the parking lot. Someone spray-painted something on my locker that maintenance covered, but you could still see the outline through the new paint. Someone started a petition to have me expelled for the safety of female students. Got 300 signatures in 2 days. Ethan was behind most of it. Golden boy, future lawyer, moral crusader, who decided I was the perfect villain for his hero story. Mark wanted to file charges. Sarah advised against it. They're trying to provoke you. Don't give them ammunition. So, I took it. Absorbed the hatred. Became a ghost in my own school. The weeks turned into a blur of meetings with the Title IX coordinator, who asked the same questions in different orders, like she was trying to catch me in a lie. Forms to fill out, statements to write. Each session felt like being on trial for something I didn't do. The coordinator would sit there with her clipboard, asking me to explain my whereabouts, my relationship with Chloe, why I thought she would lie. Every question assumed guilt. Every answer was suspect. I started bringing Sarah to the meetings, just so I'd have someone who believed me in the room. Then, one Saturday, a teacher from my old middle school saw me at the grocery store. Miss Patricia. She'd taught me 8th grade English. Recognized me in the cereal aisle. Caleb, is that you? I nodded. She looked at my face. Something clicked. I heard about what's happening at the high school, the rumor mill. I didn't say anything. For what it's worth, I know you. I know the kid who stayed after class to help organize books, who turned in every assignment on time, who never caused problems. She paused. I don't believe it. Thanks. Hang in there. Truth has a way of coming out. She squeezed my shoulder and walked away. That kindness kept me breathing for another week. The thing about lies is they require maintenance. Energy. Constant reinforcement. Eventually, liars get tired. Chloe started slipping in November. Her Instagram stories showed her at parties, laughing, dancing, looking anything but traumatized. She posted photos from a concert with the caption, "Finally feeling free again." Sarah caught it first. Sent the screenshots to Mark with a note, "Your daughter's behavior doesn't match someone experiencing trauma. Save everything." Then the ATM surveillance footage came through. The bank had dragged their feet for weeks but eventually delivered. The footage showed Chloe at every location on every date she'd blamed on me alone. No signs of coercion, just a girl withdrawing her own cash. The theft accusation was officially dead. Chloe's response? Ignore it completely. Focus exclusively on the incident narrative, because that one was harder to disprove. But the cracks were showing. Maya posted something on TikTok in early December, deleted it 20 minutes later, but Sarah had already screenshotted it, a video of her and Chloe at a party with the text overlay, "When your drama gets you out of calc for a week." Then came the medical records request. Sarah asked for Chloe's documentation for the alleged incident. Hospital visits, doctor's appointments, anything showing she'd sought treatment for trauma or physical harm. The school pushed back. Privacy. Confidentiality. Protection of the victim. Sarah pushed harder. If you're going to accuse someone of something serious enough to warrant expulsion, you need to produce evidence. Real evidence, not Instagram posts. The records came back empty. Not a single visit, no doctor's notes, no counselor reports. Nothing. Sarah called a meeting with the school's legal team, brought the medical records, the ATM footage, my location history, witness statements, everything. Laid it out like a prosecutor. The Title IX coordinator looked uncomfortable. The school's lawyer started taking notes. They agreed to continue investigating, but I could see it in their faces. They knew Chloe was lying. They just didn't know how to admit it without destroying their credibility. The school kept dragging its feet, scheduling follow-up meetings and requesting more documentation, like they were hoping the whole thing would just go away on its own. Each week, they'd ask for one more piece of evidence, one more witness statement, one more timeline verification. Classic bureaucratic stalling. They'd painted themselves into a corner by taking Chloe's side so publicly. And now, backing down meant admitting they'd nearly expelled an innocent kid. Then, before they could finally land on an outcome, the real story broke. Chloe's boyfriend got arrested. A guy named Dylan, 22 years old, dealing pills out of his apartment. Police found customer lists, transaction records, text messages. Chloe's name came up 14 times. 3 weeks after Dylan's arrest, the police showed up at Brenda's house. Asked to speak with Chloe about her connection to him. Asked if she'd been purchasing controlled substances. That's when Chloe broke. Confessed to everything. The drug use, the money, the lies about me. All of it came spilling out because she needed to cut a deal to avoid charges. The police report landed on Sarah's desk 4 days later. She called us into her office, laid it out on the conference table. Your sister's statement admits she fabricated the theft accusation to cover drug purchases. She also admits the other allegation was created to deflect attention when the theft story started falling apart. I stared at the words, black ink on white paper. Official confession. What happens now? We take this to the school. Demand full reinstatement. Expungement of all records. And a public acknowledgement of the error. The school fought it for 2 weeks. Tried to negotiate a quiet resolution where they'd clear my record but not admit wrongdoing. Sarah said no. Public acknowledgement, or we go to the media and the school board. They caved. Principal Lewis read a statement at an all-school assembly. Brief, sterile corporate language about new information coming to light and mistakes in the investigative process. Never used Chloe's name, never used mine, just vague words about ensuring fairness moving forward. The assembly was mandatory. Everyone packed into the gym. I sat in the back row, watching Principal Lewis stand at the podium, looking like she'd rather be anywhere else. The statement took maybe 90 seconds. Then she dismissed everyone, and that was it. Months of hell, reduced to a minute and a half of corporate speak. Ethan sat 3 rows ahead of me during the assembly. Didn't turn around. Didn't apologize. Just stared straight ahead like a man realizing his crusade had been built on sand. After the assembly, Coach Miller found me in the hallway. Caleb, the team would love to have you back. State championships are coming up. I looked at him, remembered how quickly he'd cut me loose when it mattered. I'm good. You sure? We could really use, I'm good, I said. I walked away, didn't look back. The official exoneration didn't fix anything, it just made the damage visible. My reputation was still radioactive. People who'd signed the petition didn't apologize. They just pretended they'd never believed it in the first place. Kevin tried to reconcile. Showed up at the rental house one Saturday with pizza. Hey man, I know things got weird. I just wanted to say I'm sorry for not being there when you needed someone. I let him talk for maybe 3 minutes. You've known me since 4th grade. We ran every mile together, and the second someone told a story, you bailed. That's all I need to know. He left the pizza and didn't come back. But I wasn't satisfied with just walking away. Sarah helped me file a civil suit. Defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress against Chloe specifically. We didn't ask for money. We asked for something better. Court testimony under oath. Public acknowledgement of the lies. Chloe's lawyer tried to settle. Offered cash, confidentiality, mutual non-disparagement. Sarah laughed in his face. My client doesn't want money. He wants truth. The case moved through the system. Depositions, discovery. Chloe under oath, admitting every lie, every calculated move, every moment. Admitting she'd chosen to keep the story going even when she knew it was destroying me. Watching her deposition was surreal. She sat there in a conference room, lawyer beside her, and had to answer question after question about the lies. Why she made the theft accusation, why she escalated to the other allegation, why she let it continue for months. Each answer made her look smaller, more desperate. The performance was gone. Just a girl who dug a hole and kept digging. Her lawyer kept trying to paint her as a victim of circumstances. A scared girl making bad choices under pressure. Sarah dismantled that with surgical precision. Showed the timeline. The social media posts celebrating her brave stand. The coordination with Ethan and Maya. The complete absence of trauma symptoms. By the end, Chloe was crying. Real tears. Not performance. Just the weight of consequences finally landing. We reached a settlement before trial. Chloe agreed to post a public retraction on every platform she'd used to spread the allegations. Court-approved language, no wiggle room, no softening it. She had to state clearly that she'd fabricated the allegation, that she'd lied about the theft, that I'd done nothing wrong, and that she took full responsibility for the damage caused. The posts went live in August. The fallout was immediate. Ethan deleted his social media. Maya posted a vague apology about learning lessons and got roasted in the comments. Brenda called Mark crying, begging him to make me drop the suit. Mark told her Chloe created this mess, she could live in it. Senior year, I focused on two things, grades and getting out. No drama, no social life, just applications and essays and planning for somewhere far away. Mark and Diane got more serious. She started coming to Sunday dinners at our place. Brought her daughter, Emily, a few times. Emily was 14, quiet, read fantasy novels. We ended up talking about books one evening while Mark and Diane handled the grill. It was the first normal conversation I'd had in months. I got accepted to a state school in northern Wisconsin, 4 hours north. Full scholarship, industrial design program. Mark helped me load the truck in August before my freshman year. Before we left, he handed me something. An old shoebox from his closet. What's this? Letters from your mom and Chloe. They've been sending them to the house. I saved them in case you ever wanted to read them. I looked at the box. Must be 30 letters in there. Different handwriting, different postmarks. Do you want to read them? Mark asked. I thought about it for maybe 10 seconds. Then I handed the box back. Burn them. Mark didn't argue, just nodded. That weekend, we had a fire in the backyard. The letters went in one at a time. I watched them curl and blacken and turn to ash. It didn't feel triumphant, just necessary. College was different. Nobody knew my story. I was just another freshman trying to figure out the dining hall and where the library was. I joined an intramural running club. Made friends with my roommate. Started dating a girl from my design class. Her name was Ashley. Funny and direct and didn't take herself too seriously. We were together 6 months before she asked about my family. I told her the truth. All of it. The lies, the isolation, the lawsuit, the burning letters. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, she was quiet for a minute. That's heavy. Yeah. Your sister sounds like a piece of work. That's one way to put it. Are you okay now? I thought about it. Really thought about it. Getting there. She kissed my forehead, and we watched a movie, and she didn't bring it up again unless I did. That's when I knew she was different. 2 weeks ago, the doorbell rang on a Sunday afternoon. Ashley was out getting groceries. I opened the door expecting a delivery. Brenda and Chloe stood on the porch. They looked older, worn. Brenda's hair had more gray. Chloe had lost weight, her face drawn. She looked nothing like the girl who used to command every room, just tired, hollowed out. The air had that October bite to it. Not quite cold enough for a jacket, but sharp enough to make you notice. The same kind of weather as that night years ago when everything started. The trees on our street were already turning, leaves going brown at the edges. For a second, I forgot how to breathe. Then muscle memory kicked in. "What are you doing here?" Brenda's voice was smaller than I remembered. "We wanted to talk. To try to make things right." My hand shook on the doorknob. I could feel the chill creeping in. The same kind of October cold from that night years ago. "There's nothing to make right." "Caleb, please." Chloe's voice cracked. "I know I can't undo what I did, but I'm different now. I'm sober. I'm in therapy. I want to apologize. Really apologize." I looked at her, tried to find something that felt like family. Came up empty. "You already apologized. The settlement made you. That's all I needed. That was legal. This is," Brenda stepped forward. "This is us trying to heal as a family." The word family hit wrong, like fingernails on a chalkboard. "We're not a family. You stopped being my family the night you locked me out in the rain. Chloe stopped being my sister the day she decided destroying my life was easier than admitting she had a problem. We made mistakes," Brenda said. "Terrible mistakes. But don't you think it's time to move forward?" I almost laughed. "You don't get to decide when I move forward. You don't get to show up here and demand forgiveness because it makes you feel better about yourselves." Chloe was crying now. "I just want my brother back." "Then you should have thought about that before you let 300 people sign a petition calling me a predator. Before you watched me eat lunch alone every single day and did nothing to stop it." The words came out harder than I meant them. But they were true. Brenda tried one more time. "Caleb, please. We're asking for one chance, one conversation. That's all." I looked at them both, saw the desperation, the need, the hope that I'd be the bigger person and let them off the hook. "No." I stepped back and closed the door. The deadbolt clicked. Same sound it made 15 years ago. Permanent. I stood there listening to them on the other side. Muffled voices. Eventually, footsteps, a car starting, driving away. Ashley came home 20 minutes later with groceries. Found me sitting on the couch, staring at nothing. "You okay?" I told her what happened. She set the bags down and sat next to me. "How do you feel?" "I don't know. Empty, maybe. Or just done." She took my hand. Didn't say anything else. Just sat there with me while the afternoon light faded outside. That night I dreamed about the gazebo at Willow Creek Park. The damp bench, the leaves in corners. But this time, when I looked up, Mark's truck was already there. Headlights cutting through the rain. I woke up around 3 a.m. Ashley was asleep next to me. The apartment was quiet, safe. I got up and walked to the window, looked out at the street below. No cars, no people, just streetlights. And the kind of peace that comes from knowing you don't owe anyone your pain. Some bridges don't deserve rebuilding. Some people don't earn second chances. Chloe made her choices. Brenda made hers. I made mine. Do you think there are some things that can simply never be forgiven?